Today's Saturday, it's the 8th of February, it's 2025, and we've come down to the Playa de Palma. It's a little bit breezy, it's a lot cooler than it has been, but the sun's shining. It's absolutely poured with rain this morning, but that's all cleared up and we've just got this cool breeze now.
Putting my gloves on.
And one of the first things that we notice is the hotels are opening up here. So this one's a big hotel on the Playa de Palma. It's already opened up. We're just looking there towards Campastilla. We were there recently. Lots of little sailing boats out on the sea, windsurfers and some waves. I can't see any actual surfers, but got the windsurfers out there. There's a few people actually on the beach and children playing on the beach, but it is a lot cooler than it's been. And the wind just makes it feel a bit more chilly. And did it rain this morning? I had to go out in the car and it was absolutely pouring down. And as we walk along the Playa de Palma, we see these concrete posts that look like something that come out of the Cold War. And the concrete's actually breaking away from the steel reinforcing on all of them actually, well, certainly these here. And
What are they for?
I don't know, I really don't know. I mean, there are lights at the top, we've got lights, and at the very top they've got LED lights, so they're quite modern lights, but the actual structure itself is pretty awful. And they everything now that they're putting up is much more slender, much sleeker, and much more pleasant. It's a nice couple of rows of palm trees along there, which is,
They're not very happy though, are they?
yeah, they look a bit sad. Not very green, are they? Yeah. Hopefully they'll all come back to life. Maybe they're not watering them or something, I don't know. That's one of the lifeguard posts, or it will be when they put the hut back on top of it. Last year they were bright yellow. I guess they'll keep to the same colours, and that's only in Palma. It just it varies depending on which municipality. In Palma they are really bright yellow sheds. They did look a little bit out of place.
Just say thank you to everybody for my lovely comments on the garden.
Oh yeah.
I'm really glad you like my garden like me.
Yeah, so Anita was busy replying to those this morning. And I do apologise if we don't reply immediately. We try to reply eventually, but it gets so many of them. Sometimes there's a bit of a backlog, especially when other things sort of take over in our lives, other things than making videos. Yeah, well, you can see the surf there. It's the waves are breaking and the wind's picking up the surf and blowing it along. It's quite nice. Luckily the wind's behind us. We're walking in the direction of El Arenal, which is right at the end of the Playa de Palma, in the direction that we're going. Huge sand dunes there that children are playing on. Now they were working on the Playa de Palma, so I'll look to see what that means, because it looks as though the promenade is actually cut off in front of us. Such a lot of development work going on around Mallorca, which is great. They've got to get that done during the winter time so that it's ready for when the tourists arrive, and they'll be arriving now in the next few weeks. So this is actually, there's a big poster up here. It says it's the modernisation project for the Playa de Palma. So these piles of sand are really going to be to fill this in, I think. This is a torrente that's in the winter time, when the storms have washed water down, they've made a gully, and the sand will be used to fill that in. Behind the fence here is where they've been working on the front. I think they've been laying some new bricks and things. It means we've got to walk around a little bit. Just over there's the aquarium. Might get a bit of that in on the way back because we've just parked our car near to there. And then this is the road which, when we first came to Mallorca, this was just an ordinary road by the sea, and we had a tiny little Seat 127, I think it was, and we used to drive up and down here. Now it's...
They did the sponsored walk here, didn't they, once?
They did once or twice, yeah. Not a great place for a sponsored walk, particularly in May when it gets really hot, and that's when we used to have it. Looks like we can get back onto the promenade. So that bit, I think, well, the wall's gone here. And so it now just goes straight onto the sand. Which, well, people used to use the wall as a seat, so that's sort of missing.
Maybe they're going to put seats in.
None of the beach bars on this side are open.
Need to find somewhere to have a coffee.
Yeah, might need a warm drink. And now, as we get further down, we can see they are doing a lot of work, just like Magaluf. This is on the promenade in Magaluf that's being redone. So promenade here in Playa de Palma is being remodelled. This is a much bigger promenade. Calvia have actually published some artists' impression of what they hope Magaluf is going to be looking like. And I think it's going to look very nice when it's done. They intend to put the palm trees actually on the beach and then have some shrubbery growing around the palm trees to create a dune-like effect. What I'm surprised here really is by the fact that this wall has gone completely. So here we get diverted away from the... We can't actually go much further. We can have a look to see what the work is then. So you can see they've caged off a whole section of promenade. The wall has gone completely, and they're actually working right into the sand, so some plans going on there afoot. Today's Saturday, nobody's working on it. The actual promenade itself looks to be in good condition, so well, we'll see what's going on. Maybe we need to walk down a little bit further. I'll go back to Anita now. That's Palma in that direction. Really is blustery.
You're supposed to go there, you get put in prison.
Shh, don't tell anybody. people sitting on the balconies over there, bars that are open, full. So even though we can't walk directly by the beach, we can walk by the side here. As you notice that some cars do go along here. And there is a tourist train that comes along here. I said to Anita we ought to try that. I had some people making comments about the train ride that we did in Calabona. And it's just a great way of seeing particularly the Calabona area where it's a little bit hilly, and you get around places where it's kind of difficult for you to do in such a short time on foot. And I think that train wasn't very expensive, was it? It was about €6, I think. And I think it's something similar along here. Along here, though, it's just pretty much a there and back. It's a long ride because it's a long way down there. It just sort of disappears into the distance, this road.
The Roman road.
It is very straight. Some of the little bobcats used to do the digging. It's one of the areas you would normally be able to get onto the promenade, but it's all fenced off. Another great way of seeing this seafront is by bicycle. Rent a bicycle for an hour or two, or a day or two, and go up and down on your bicycle. It's all perfectly flat, very easy. Still no access for us to get anywhere near to the beach. See, across the road, the bars very busy. Yeah, there's a lot of people here already on holiday in the Playa de Palma. It's usually a lot more people from Germany and Holland, but at this time of the year we've also got people from mainland Spain. We get the Inmerso trips. These are the ones which are sponsored by the government to bring pensioners, so you find Playa de Palma is one of the places where a lot of pensioners from mainland Spain come for a winter break. They like to come to the Balearic Islands. The pensioners from the Balearic Islands quite often like to go to the mainland to go and see somewhere different. And I was reading that something like 90,000 people, I think this is on the island here, registered to go on these Inmerso trips, but only just over 10,000 actually managed to get places, so they get booked up very quickly.
Puddles. Cross over.
Sure how far this work goes on, but it seems to go on and on.
You know they were doing this here.
Well, I knew that they started at the far end, at the Arenal end, but this is the first time I think we've been down here and seen such a large scale of work going on. For all of the hotels on this side, there is apparently no access to the beach.
No.
This hotel's open.
Big one.
The next hotel on the left here, this one's boarded up. Police car's just gone zooming down there. It's no entry. Shouldn't be driving that direction down there. The cars can come this way, but it's, well, then maybe accept other vehicles or cyclists. Big hotels here, look. I was already reading some interesting comments on the Portugal video that we recently put up. We managed to park very near to the Hotel Portugal outside a restaurant, which I thought at the time might have been part of the hotel, but it's not. I've had confirmation from someone who knows the hotel tell me that it's a family-run hotel and it's one of the favourites of our King Felipe, and he goes there to have meals as well. The hotel next door, been in the hands of the same family for quite a long time. It's also had a good restaurant. It's not an area that we think of really for going for meals, with it being the other side of Palma, but maybe it's something we should try. Well, I don't know whether we're going to get to the end of this work. It just, the fence seems to go on and on and on. Just looking that, so up until this point, the wall, the sea wall is gone, but here the sea wall is still there. So I'm not sure whether that one's going to stay or whether that one's going to get taken up afterwards. The sign we saw didn't have dates on. Quite often here, when they're doing building work, there's a date they can start, a date they've got to be finished by, but I haven't seen any of those for this particular piece of work. Big Ibero Star Hotel. Don't think that one's open. Still no access. I haven't done anything to the promenade at this point. It doesn't look to be in that bad condition, so I don't know whether that means they're not going to do anything. We've got bags and bags full here of bricks. Look like paving bricks that they've taken up, but they all look pretty much in good condition. They could actually be used again somewhere. This is no small job because it still goes on for a long way down there. Yeah, some two ladies who've got their feet in a fish tank and in the fish nibble away at their dead skin. I really don't like the thought of that. I think we're actually coming to the end of it, so. There we go, there's another one of these fishy places. I do think that this might be the end of where the fencing is, so I'm going to cross over and have a look. There's a little subway-like thing here. It's gated off, so you can't actually walk underneath there. But at this point, we can actually get onto the promenade. Well, well, well. So, yeah, not much sign of anything going on here, really. I'm not sure what that means. What you can see, though, there are some pipes in there, and that was always part of the plan. Along here, they were going to be laying drainage pipes, I believe. And now we can back on, but this is the wall. You see this concrete wall. People use it as a bench to sit on. And that's been removed for the whole stretch, much of that stretch. Nothing seems to have been done here, and these concrete pillars, which I think are pretty ugly, are still here.
We do need to have a wall like this, don't we?
Well, they've always had that. I mean, it does stop the wind from blowing on, so
Was it on the first one?
I don't know. Well, there's nobody venturing into the water, and I don't blame them, other than the people who are out there for windsurfing activities. Well, it's been interesting to walk along there and see that the work is underway. It's supposed to be the whole length of the Playa de Palma, and I think the idea was to do it in such a way that it could open up for the summer, so they'll stop work for the summer months and then resume work in the downtime, in the low season. Which, we've got plenty of time still to do that. To head backwards now.
Where's Sunil's shop? Long way.
Well, still a bit further down here, but I don't think he's open yet.
No.
Yeah. These planters have been put in to stop vehicles driving onto the promenade. So you see those from various places.
One of those, shouldn't we?
You should. Are they pedal power?
Yeah.
You know, if you can see these vehicles that are coming up here. Are we going to be heading back? I think we can go over onto the other side. So a few shops open, a few bars open, a few restaurants open. Oh, very nice, dear.
I thought it was a rose petal. Somebody must have dropped it.
See in the distance there are still some clouds around. Oh, here's the pedal power.
I sit at the front and you sit behind and pedal.
I think it might have a little bit of battery assistance as well on those. Quite heavy. They are bringing in rules for the scooters. You see zooming along here. I thought they were already in place, but it seems that they're later this year. Limit their speed, make them wear high-vis vests, make them wear helmets, and the real deal breaker is they're going to have to be insured, just like cars and motorcycles.
bit less windy now, do you think?
Certainly less windy now we've come onto this side. It's much more pleasant to walk. Someone was asking about these machines. Are they safe? They are, but they will charge you. It's not free withdrawals, they will charge you. And again, they decide what the exchange rate is if you're going to be changing from one currency to another. So you need to check before you press that button to accept it. I read a story in the paper about somebody from the UK changing £300 and only getting 270 euros for it. And she simply hadn't read the exchange rate, she hadn't read the information. It sounded as though she was a sensible girl as well, but she just hadn't read the information. Well, the exchange rate is closer to 120, so she should have been getting significantly more than that. So something like 350 or 360 euros. Instead, she got on 270. But well, they can be a law unto themselves. You just have to make sure you know what you're going to get before you actually say yes. And you might get a better exchange rate if you just use your card to pay with. Many businesses just seem to like using cards. Some independent ones prefer cash. And obviously if you're on a market stall, then most of them would prefer cash, and some of them simply cannot accept cards. On a day-to-day basis, we use mostly card. If we're just having a coffee, we might pay with cash. So it tends to be those small things, and then we keep some cash for tips, and that's become a little bit of an issue here because people... Careful, dear. You need to taking a little bit of a trip there. Yeah, in restaurants, if people are paying with a card, they don't always leave a tip, and a lot of these waiters and waitresses live on their tips. There's also a move in Spain as well to reduce the number of hours worked from 40 hours a week to 37 and a half, so 2.5 hours, but with no reduction in pay, which means effectively people are getting a pay rise for the number of hours that they work. That still hasn't happened yet, it's in the process of. And different groups are bartering towards pay rises, and those include in the hospitality sector. And they have different pay grades depending on what they do. So if it's somebody doing very basic work in the kitchen, washing dishes or the like, then they're on the basic grade, right up to somebody who might be the head chef. And it's also rated as far as the quality of the establishment is. So if it's a 1-star, 2-star, right up to 5-star, and the higher the rating, the more pay that and more professional they expect, I suppose, the workforce needs to be. And I was kind of taken aback at how little the people at the top of the scale seem to be earning. So, for example, somebody who might be a cleaner or a bottle washer, someone with a fairly basic sort of a job can be earning 1,400 euros a month. But the head waiter in a 5-star hotel is only on something like 2,300 euros a month. I found that really quite unbelievable. These are minimum wages, so I guess they don't necessarily earn that. Someone might, but we know from our own experience of being teachers that we have these things called convenios, which dictate the minimum wage that the particular job has in all sorts of professions. And well, certainly in teaching, that's probably what you're going to get. You might get a little bonus for this or a little bonus for that.
We're rolling, we're coming through.
But yeah, it dictates what the minimum wages are. So I don't know whether a head chef in a 5-star hotel really does earn only 2,300 euros a month. It seems very, very little to me for someone who needs to be extremely skilled and at the top of his profession. Tell me when you want to stop for a coffee, dear.
Someone can sit inside. So we've got Thai curry with celeriac rice on the menu tonight.
Thai curry, celeriac rice, that sounds good to me.
And then the side of cauliflower.
Yeah, we do. We try this, we use cauliflower rice. We make sort of imitation rice out of cauliflower. And we've never done it with the celeriac. So that's going to be something of an experiment this evening if it works. And then that might be something we can use for a future video. If it doesn't work, you'll hear no more of it. But it is a done thing apparently. We've just checked it out. I've now seen that the no entry signs do say except the train, except bicycles, except the police. You can go through the no entry sign. It's the Grillmeister. Famous for their hot dog type food. Really strange to still see people smoking.
Lots.
Yeah. When we first came to Mallorca, everybody seemed to smoke, and I've been always against smoking, and actually taught that in my classes. And over the years, the rules and laws have changed in Spain, and you see less and less. We used to come to the bars and the restaurants, they would be full of smoke. Thankfully that's no more, and you go inside a restaurant or inside a bar, there is no smoking. But terraces, I think, is still up to the people who own them, so they can allow people to smoke on the terraces. The hotels. That's the HM Tropical. This is where the work begins or ends. We're still quite away from Compostela, so just the middle section that seems to be affected by the works. Yeah, look, see if there's a table where we're out of the sun. The holiday makers, they tend to want to be in the sun. We, as locals, tend to want to be out of the sun, so that's fine. Well, we're suitably refreshed. Had a drink. Anita had a pizza.
I did. Serena mentioned they're having pizza tonight to watch the rugby, so I just fancied one. I got some to take home as well. And Steve did steal a piece or two.
The sun's going down a bit now. It's 25 past 5 in the evening.
Still staying light later, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite pleasant now as well. And you can still see the trees blowing around a little bit, the palm leaves up there. But as we were sitting in the cafe, we were looking out over the sea, and it's very, very clear, very crisp horizon. As we're going back, where's Anita gone? There she is. Oh, it's blowing a bit here. Whoa. As we're driving through Palma on the way home, there is a protest. The people with the motorhomes are protesting that they've got nowhere to go in Palma because they're trying to change the law in Palma so that people are not allowed to sleep in their motorhomes. So you can't stay in them overnight in Palma, and it's going to be very difficult for some people who don't actually have a home other than their motorhome, and all they want is somewhere to park them and be legal, and really to have some facility so they can empty their wastewater, maybe a tap so they can actually get some water. But there is nowhere official pretty much anywhere on the island. I think just in Camp Picklefoot area is the only place that I know of where they've actually set something up for temporary stays. So they decided to go on a protest today, so 6 o'clock today they're all meeting outside one of the big DIY stores, and they're going to do a slow drive through Palma. So it could be interesting. We could do. It's due to start at 6 o'clock.
From where?
Starting at Brico Depot, and then they've got a route through the city of Palma.
I'm glad I put my coat on today.
We could actually have walked past the aquarium. The aquarium is just the other side of this pretty much scrubland here, fenced off. Interesting to see how many of these motorhomes actually join in, but certain parts of Palma where you see lots and lots of these things, and one of them was actually outside our Masonic Lodge. There's a huge car park there. There's usually lots of them parked there. I only saw one when I was there this morning. I thought that was a bit strange. Nearly back now to where we started. Walking in the direction of Palma, of course.
Nice walk.
Nice walk, yeah. See the aeroplanes taking off. That's going to become a much more regular occurrence as the weeks and months pass by. This little football pitch here. Youngsters out having a kick about. Temperature tonight is supposed to go down to single figures. I did even see 2 degrees mentioned, so let's see if it gets down that cold. Elsewhere on the island, the temperature yesterday got down to -3 in some places. That's up in the mountains and well away from us. Our temperature probably got down to just about into single figures. More children having a little bit of a kickabout, and this pretty much is where we started. We're going to make our way home now. Hope you've found this a nice little walk in the breeze.
It is a bit breezy.
And we've got our steps in for today, so thanks very much for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.